Hello, everyone. I am Colleen, and I am back for another live stream brought to you by Princess Dental Staffing. So happy everyone could be here with me today on this Wednesday. Hope your week is going really well, and I hope you had an awesome weekend. I hope the weather is really nice for you wherever you are. I heard on the East Coast, like southern East Coast of the United States, you're getting like 70s. You're in the 70s, really? Because here in Denver, Colorado, we've got snow on the ground. So wherever you are, I hope that you are warm and that it's really nice weather wherever you are. So each week, we are bringing you a new live stream covering a new topic regarding how to start and or maintain your career in the dental industry. So if you like the content that we're bringing you, be sure to drop us a like. If you have any thoughts, insights, questions, or anything like that, be sure to comment on these videos. And if you want more information on any of the topics that we're covering, be sure to check out Princess Dental Staffing's website at princessdentalstaffing.com, where you can view their blog. It's also super easy to create a profile and start searching for jobs, okay? So let's jump into today's topic. Today's topic is we're going to be talking about the best questions to ask during a dental interview. This is for the interviewees, okay? So if you have an interview lined up for a position, these are some of the really good questions that you can ask the interviewer from your side, okay? So we're going to be covering 8 different questions today, and we'll be talking about each question, and we'll be talking about why it's a good question to ask and what you can do with the information that you get from their answers, okay? So just want to point out that the dental interview is a very important part of landing that job. It's normally like the last step in the application process, right? So, you know, it's really important. The dental interview is really important. It's a really great opportunity to showcase your interpersonal skills, to meet who you may be working with, and to get a little bit more information on the office or the practice that you're interviewing for, or with whom you are interviewing. It's also a really great opportunity to see if you're a good fit for the position, okay? Just as much as they're interviewing you, you are interviewing them as well to make sure that that you fit well with that office, with that practice, okay? So don't be afraid to ask some questions. Normally, most interviewers will allow you to ask some questions at the end of the interview, and you'll be able to kind of ask some questions and, you know, glean a little bit more information to see if, you know, your values and the practice's values are a good match, okay? So make sure you're asking some of those questions. Now, the best way to do this is to actually go online and check out the practice's website or social media pages beforehand, and you'll be able to get some good questions to ask, you know, just by doing a little bit of research, okay? So, but these are just some questions. The questions we're about to go over, these are going to be some good ones, some good general ones that will give you some good information, just some things to kind of keep in mind that you may want to know about your potential new employer, okay? So let's jump into those. So we've got 8 different questions here. The first one to ask: who is your typical patient, and what needs do you have to address? Okay, so this is a really good question to ask your interviewers because it'll give you a good idea of who you're going to be working with on a regular basis, what types of patients come in, and you know, what special needs they have, and that's going to help kind of align some of your soft skills with their expectations, right? It'll kind of give you a good idea of what soft skills you're going to be using on a regular basis in order to meet the needs of the majority of the patients that that practice is going to be servicing, right? So really good information to kind of align your soft skills. Okay, I've got a question coming in here. What type of information should we try to find out about the company from their website or social media accounts? Great question, Taylor. You can find out a little bit more about their philosophy, like the office's philosophy, or their the way that they practice their dentistry. You also have a good idea. You can also sometimes glean a little bit of information about the different like technologies they use, or you can also glean a little bit of information about the types of patients that they tend to see, and what their focus is on, those sorts of things. You can also, especially right now, you can kind of see some of the precautions that they're taking for COVID, and kind of how some of their practices have changed in order to adapt to the pandemic as well. So there's a lot of great information. You can also glean information about, their dress code as well. You can kind of take a look at, what, if they have pictures of their staff, a lot of times they have those kind of like candid pictures of their staff, and you can kind of glean, what is kind of acceptable for dress code, and what to kind of shy away from. Okay. So great question, Taylor. There's a lot of information you can get from social media pages and their website if they have one. Okay. Great question. So moving on, question number 2 is, what's the practice's dental philosophy? Again, sometimes you can kind of get this information from their social media pages or their website, but it's also a really good question to ask anyway, just because, what the practice's dental philosophy is will kind of give you a good idea of what they prioritize, what their values are, and what they prioritize. And, it will give you you'll be able to see how well their philosophy aligns with your philosophy in practicing in your dental practice and just throughout your career. Okay. So really great question to ask. It also gives you a little bit better idea about their culture as well, and make sure that you fit in well with their culture and that you can work well with their team. Okay. So question number 3, what are the biggest opportunities for the practice right now? This is an excellent question. This really kind of gives you an idea of where potentially the owners or the decision makers in that office see the office going, the direction that they see the office going in. And it's also a really good opportunity if you ask what are the biggest opportunities for this practice right now. It's also a really good opportunity to kind of bring up how you can meet their needs in the future, right? So if you've already had, for example, a lot of companies, not just dental offices, but a lot of companies are, they're employing more like EEOC type training, right? Diversity training, inclusion training. That type of training has skyrocketed since the beginning of the year. So it may be a great opportunity to, just mention them. Oh, by the way, I just had this training recently. It was a really great training. You can talk a little bit about it, right? So it's not only is it a good opportunity to understand where they'd see themselves going in the future to see if it meets with the direction that you want to go in, but it's also a great opportunity to kind of bring up how you can help support the practice in moving forward towards in that same direction towards those same goals, right? Okay. Question number 4, what are the biggest challenges for the practice right now? Kind of the same thing, right? So, learning what the challenges are and seeing if you're comfortable kind of tackling and meeting those challenges for the practice is a great way to kind of see how well you align with the practice. And additionally, again, just like the last question, it's a great opportunity to potentially bring up, how you've already, met similar challenges or met specifically those challenges, and how you work towards them and tackling them, right? So that's another great question to ask. Okay. Question number 5. What are the most common types of treatments that you execute? So really great question to kind of understand what you might be doing on a regular basis, or how you might be contributing and working with your team on a regular basis, okay? And kind of, assessing your skills in those different sorts of treatments and how well that you can perform them, okay? So again, just seeing how well your skills and your experience align with that of the practice, okay? This is also a really great question, because let's say, for example, they talk about some treatments that they commonly do, and it's not something that you have a lot of experience in. And, it's still a really great question to get that information, because now you know where you need to focus some of your professional development efforts, right? So let's say you don't end up getting the position, unfortunately. Well, at least you have that information, and you can kind of say, okay, well, maybe I can use a little bit more training in this area to make me more attractive to potential employers, right? So that might be some really great information on where to focus your continuing professional development, okay? And then the next interview you go to, if they mention that is, a common treatment that they do, oh, okay, well, I recently had some refresher training in this, or I had some updated training in this. I think that will lend well, to the, daily operations of this office or this practice, okay? Question number 6, what types of technology do you use? Again, kind of a similar question to the last one that was asked. It can kind of, it's another opportunity to see how well your skills align with what is going to be expected of you. And it's also a great way to know if you need a little bit more training or professional development in a specific technology or specific area, okay? Really great question. Additionally, if they have like kind of newer types of technology that maybe you haven't worked with before, you can also ask, okay, do you, are you, it's not something that I'm that familiar with. Would I be able to shadow someone, or would I be, do you offer a little bit of training or something like that in this particular technology? Okay. Question number 7, how are patients and treatments are assigned? Okay, so this is a really, really great question. And it's a really good question for, pretty much any role in the dental office, right? Seeing how patients and treatments are assigned, because it kind of helps better define what your role might be in this potential new employer's practice, right? So, whether you're actually scheduling the appointments or whether you're working on the patients, really helpful to know if the patients are assigned randomly, or if you see the same patients each time that they come in, right? That kind of better prepares you for what you can expect on a regular basis, right? Okay. And then question number 8, what role would I play in the dental office? And this one is a very direct question, but I really, really like it, because it gives you, a really, sometimes when you read the job postings and you read kind of the job duties, that tends to be kind of a very broad and brief overview of what you can expect to tackle in this role. But asking these interviewers directly, what role would I play in the dental office? It really kind of gives you, you get it from the horse's mouth, right? This is, where I can expect to spend most of my time in this area, or, completing these duties or these responsibilities. Okay. So it's a really great question, because it lets you know what to expect from this role and how you fit into the office team, right? And what you can expect to do on a regular basis, and again, measuring whether or not that information aligns with your skills, your abilities, and what you are willing to do, right? And just seeing how well you align, okay? So there we have it. Those are the top 8 questions. Let's go over them again, just really briefly. Who is your typical patient, and what needs do you have to address? What is the practice's dental philosophy? What are the biggest opportunities for the practice right now? What are the biggest challenges for the practice right now? What are the most common types of treatments you execute? What types of technology do you use? How are patients and treatments assigned? And what role would I play in the dental office if I was hired? Okay, so really great questions to, again, really help focus on getting some information from your interviewers and getting a good idea of, if you were hired, where you would fit in the office and what your roles and your tasks would be, and being able to align that information with your goals and with your your views and your values as well to make sure that they align well. Again, you are interviewing them just as much as they are interviewing you. You want to make sure that this position would be a very, very good fit for you, and make sure that this is somewhere where you can not only survive, but thrive, right? So just some really great questions to ask. Again, if you want to do some more targeted questions, I highly recommend going on that practice's website, on their social media pages, and and just checking out. You might even check out Glassdoor as well, and I think Indeed as well will have some company reviews as well. And sometimes you'll be able to find practice reviews to see what other people have said about working there. Okay, just as much information as possible is always going to be the best option. Okay, so I hope that you found that information helpful. Thanks for the great questions. And I hope you have a great week. We will be back next week, next Wednesday, with a new topic. And so again, if you want more information on the topic that we covered today, be sure to check out Princess Dental Staffing's website at princessdentalstaffing.com and check out their blog. And if you have any questions or thoughts or insights that you want to ask, be sure to comment them below, and we will get back to them as soon as possible. Okay. So thanks so much for being here with me, everyone. Hope you are staying warm. Hope you are continuing to stay safe out there. And I will see you next week.